Welcome. This is the first stream and I will try to build some software and go through the whole process, like from the problem we are solving to the hopefully something working. So I would like to first explain the problem we are solving because it's related to Pomodoro timer. I have to pick the project name and we'll do some basic system design, but this is not going to be like on job interview. I will just try to put some stuff and arrows on the blank canvas and figure out what to do with it. I need to figure out what are the phases of the software development. So I have to spike few solutions first and then figure out what to do with the results. I would like to put some technology on also empty canvas and have some notes about what I want to use, what I definitely don't want to use, and how it fits in the system design problem that I want to solve. So this is a Pomodoro timer. It's focus to do. I think it's actually great. I love it. I even paid for the app, but it has an issue that is really annoying. I mean, it's working on all the platforms. I'm using it on Linux, macOS, on my iPhone, on my Apple Watch, because there is a cool complication. But so if I start the timer here and then I go to my phone, it's not in sync. And because it's not in sync with my phone, it's also not in sync with my watch. So if I hide this, I won't get any notification on my watch. If I have like focus mode on my computer, I won't get notification. I would really like all my devices to sync. That's the idea for the project, to create Pomodoro tracker with multiple clients. So native desktop app, Android, iPhone, Apple Watch, maybe Android Watch, and the desktop browser extension, and make all those clients to sync. Yeah, so that's the project. And now we have to pick up the name. For that purpose, I will use ChatGPT because I'm not really creative and I'm lazy. So, okay, whatever. Okay, so we have those 10. ZenTimer. I like ZenTimer. And the next thing I want to do is do some system design. I don't want to go too deep into that. I just want to put some stuff on the canvas to not forget what I'm actually trying to build here. Like I said, I want to have few clients. I want to have web browser client, extension to web browser, like Apple Watch and desktop app. And I want to have Windows and maybe Linux. So I want to have this app available on all those platforms. Probably will need some backend. So I want all those apps to synchronize. And all of those will communicate with the server and also get notifications back when something happens. So when I start Pomodoro timer on my Android app, I would like my desktop app to be also notified that, hey, it happened and when it happened. And actually that's the tricky part, when, because I will need to find a way to synchronize time between all the devices, because you literally cannot rely on time set by the user or timekeeping part of this server app. That would also share with the client so they can send back information that the event happened at that particular time, but based on the server time, not local time of macOS or Linux, whatever. I will probably also need some database. So if, for example, you start event on Android and your computer is off, won't receive this event, but I want to keep this event somewhere. Also, it would be good to keep settings, user data, tasks, and user Pomodoro status. So it would keep information. Is it started? When it started? For sure, if I start Pomodoro from, let's say, Android app, it should start locally and inform the server app and send events to all other clients if they are subscribed to that information. But if they are off, they won't get this notification. I will for sure need to update the database with the Pomodoro status information. So then when you log in on another device or something, you can just get the status, current status. So your local Pomodoro on another device will update itself. I don't aim into like perfect atomic sync between those timers, because it doesn't really matter if as long as it happens. Time sync service notify timer started, let's say. Yeah, cool. Few pieces here: the client apps, the server app, and let's say the time sync service, and this will be crucial. And this is very like high overview. The real problem is synchronization, like I said already a few times, and there are a few ways to solve it. The one I want to use, and this is just Fire-based notifications, because it works on Android, iOS, and you can also send like silent notifications. So there is no pop-up. You just inform some background service that something happened, and then the service can just react. When the background service is updated, I also wanted to update my watch. So on my watch, when I just turn my wrist, I have a complication, so I can see how much time is left. And it works the same way with browser extension and native desktop app. So I definitely want to do Chrome, Firefox, Safari, but that's like the last priority. Authentication and user management. Firebase would be my first thing to check. Actually, is it working? Other solution might be implementing some WebSockets. So there would be WebSocket on the server and in the background service. Getting complicated here because I don't think Android will allow for something long running or WebSocket running in the background. Another thing, it's something I really don't like, but I know it's working. So it's called long pulling, I think. And it works like this. You send a request with a long timeout and you may get a response or you may not get a response, but not getting response, so timeout on that particular request is not an error. It's just an information, nothing happened in that period. And if something happens, you get the response immediately. What I don't like here is, well, the server will have to maintain a lot of connections with a lot of clients at all times. And I don't think it's easy to implement, or how many resources will it eat. Same with WebSockets, like every client would have to open a WebSocket to the server. So it's not really good solution, I think. It may work for one client, or if I do it just for myself. So Firebase seems to be solving a lot of those issues. I don't want to build another Pomodoro app that works on a single like local instance. That's not fun. And I believe if Focus To Do, or if they didn't figure it out, there must be a reason. But also I want to try to solve this. So first I want to create some Spike. Spike, if you don't know, is a way to test some technology or solution without actually promising that this will be a final code and it will go to production. There is even a approach to spikes that if you finish the spike, you write down new results, you document things, because that's actually really important to document whatever you found and remove it, delete it, like it's gone, and then use the document that you created to create a proper solution. Because oftentimes when you create a spike and it kind of works, but it's disgusting code and a lot of hacks and shortcuts, and then you display it on some demo for management or whatever, they're like, okay, we want this on production next week, and this is not how it's supposed to work. I want to test Firebase Cloud Messaging, a sync solution between clients. And to do this, I need to have at least 2 clients. I definitely want to have Android app, and I want to have a browser extension. The reason for it is I'm an Android developer, and the browser extension, because I never created one, I have no clue even where to start with browser extension, but I want my system to have browser extension. After clicking the button, it should send some event to backend. I can use Lambda functions, so you don't have to create a special app. You just call a function and it does something. Creating a notification for Android, it should be enough. And the goals I would like to achieve here, get silent notification, because I don't want to show anything on the to the user in background service in Android app. Not just empty notification, but I like to pass some data, maybe just a timestamp or other info, just to have some data that I can then read in the background service. The browser extension should also get information, right? So like the same functionality, get silent notification in browser extension. If the spike fails, I need to kind of rethink the whole solution. I'm putting a lot of weight on the Firebase cloud messaging to solve my problem. If it's not working, I will have to probably create a way deeper system design diagram to still send events from all the clients, and probably use some event queue like Kafka or whatever, or some database to build a queue on that, so the clients can from time to time pull the data from this queue or even database. I mean, if I send an event from from an app, the Pomodoro timer shouldn't rely on that request to backend even to be successful or not. It should just start locally. If the event doesn't work, it should kind of be kept locally and then retried after maybe some time. There will be rules for that implemented in the app, but that's like really next step. But let's hope this works and I don't have to revisit the synchronization. So this is the first phase and the second phase. So if this works, proper app design. So after the spike, I will know what if Firebase works for me or not. If it doesn't, then I have to design some stuff. If not, I still have to design the application. So create layouts and start coding. And I don't want to start coding all the clients at once because it will be like 1, 2, 3, if you include watch, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 clients. Like, sorry, no can do. I would do it one by one. Design app. Let's start from Android. Design browser extension, because in Spike we have one button, and like I said, I don't want to use any code from the Spike. I just want to see if it solves my problem. We have to figure out user logging. Let's say on this step, I have to pick technologies because there will be some backend. There probably will be some database. There are a few languages or frameworks that I can use to create that. So probably some hosting, database, push decisions as far as possible, because that's the good practice, but I have to make some decisions here. Fuse, Kafka, database schema, if we will have any, depends on database type. Okay, next phase would be to actually start implementing stuff. So implement first clients, and implement Android app client, implement browser extension, backend service. And I guess that's it. I don't see the point of adding more phases because it will all kind of depend on first two. But after phase 3, I would like to have an app, Android app in Google Play Store that I can use and the browser extension that I can use. So at this point, users should be able to log in and start their Pomodoro timers. And later on, I will be adding more extensions, more like the iOS app, the watch app, the native desktop native apps. They will come later on. With so many clients, you have really a lot of technologies to pick up. Mobile apps can be written in a few different languages or frameworks. Same with desktop apps. I want to put it all on like single canvas and then kind of decide what I really want to use and what I hate to use. Mobile apps, right? For backend, we will have browser extensions and we will have the desktop apps. Cool. Maybe let's start from mobile. So I want to have Android and iOS app. And for iOS, I definitely would like to have a watch complication. Probably same for Android. And we have few options here. Multi-platform tools like Flutter. Let's put an icon like between Android and iOS. Or maybe I will have to implement some lower level native stuff to make it work and or to communicate with watch. And I really don't know if Flutter is ready for it, or I will have to still use some native language, so Swift for iOS or Kotlin for Android. And if I have to use some native language, then why not code the whole app in it? Another multi-platform solution would be probably React Native. And this is something I definitely don't want to use. I guess it's personal bias. I just don't buy it. I don't want to write mobile apps in JavaScript or TypeScript or whatever. Is there anything else? There's Kotlin multi-platform. I'm pretty sure I cannot use Kotlin multi-platform to write everything, so because it doesn't cover UI. Although I think Jetpack Compose has some ability, or soon-ish it should have some ability to also create UI for both Android and iOS. And that will be interesting to check, but I'm not yet sure if that's possible. There is like Ionic or some other JavaScript frameworks to do this, but there are also native. So for iOS we have Swift, and that's something I don't know anything about, but I definitely want to try it. Looking from like syntax perspective, it's very similar to Kotlin. Kotlin definitely is something I want to use on Android. Oh, also I'm aiming to have only phone apps, not really tablet apps. I think it would be easier for Android to just create a different layouts and use all the same. For iOS, I usually, from my experience as a user, there is a separate app for tablet, or there is no app at all. It's like really tailored to just be used on the mobile phone. Anyway, I think that's like mobile. Kotlin multi-platform would be nice to. It may be nice just to use it for domain code and share it between iOS and Android. But I also don't think there will be that much of domain code, especially in the first like 3 phases of the application. I think it's better for me to focus on just writing Android app and then figure out what I want to share with iOS and what's even shareable. And React Native is just pure no. Okay. I don't know Swift at all, so I'll have to learn it. Also, the stream will be a lot of me learning languages the hard way, because I don't want to do tutorials. I just want to implement and learn how to implement the stuff I need. So I'll be making a lot of really bad decisions and ugly code. Want to have, okay, app and complication, because it would be nice to start your Pomodoro from your app, but also to see on the watch face that you have something ongoing. From browser extension, I actually have no idea how to even start. I will have to do some research and then figure out. I don't know if there are frameworks or ways of doing it, or you just use. I think for Chrome at some point it was Dart that was used for browser extension. Not sure anymore if that's true, and no idea about other browsers. For desktop apps, even though they will be developed like at the latest stage, there are also few ways of doing it. I definitely want to have macOS app, Windows app, and Linux. And there is at least 2 ways to implement all those native apps, and it's already on the board, and it's called Flutter. At least I'm pretty sure you can do it on macOS and Windows. Some ability to create desktop app, so I need to spike it definitely. But there is also a JavaScript framework called Electron.js. Definitely can work on all of those. And I know it because I've been using some software that was written in Electron and it worked everywhere. Those are like multi-platform solutions, let's say. I don't know if I want to use Flutter. It would be kind of interesting to have some backend or at least the domain code in Flutter, both on desktop and mobile applications. And it's kind of tempting to do it, but I also wonder if Flutter can be used for browser extensions. What else? If Dart can be used. Basically, that's it. I don't really want to use any native language like C# probably for Windows, or some Java FX or whatever to use on Linux, because Linux has also so many graphic environments and distributions, and making sure that it works on every single one of them using some native approach, it will be horror. I definitely don't want to do this. So I think I will pick either Flutter or Electron.js. I'm kind of curious of using native approach for macOS, so probably using Swift. So I may end up in using Swift for macOS and Electron or Flutter for Windows and Linux. And backend, there are few things to consider here. So first would be framework, I guess. Framework will also dictate what languages I can use. I hate Spring Boot and I don't want to use it. And I'm actually looking into using JavaScript. One of the frameworks I've been working with already is Express.js. As much as I know it, it's pretty quick and easy to do anything I want. It's easy to set up and run it locally. I think there is a ton of tutorials, help guides, Stack Overflow information about any issues I may have. So I definitely don't want to do a web application. Because of that, I don't need to pick a framework like Angular, or I don't think I want to use Vanilla.js. I think I want to try TypeScript because I never used it. Okay, other frameworks that I could use is probably something in Python. So like Flask, or Django. Also, it's using Python. I enjoy Python as much as I can for like simple script piece of backend called databases. It kind of depends on the second phase, so system design. Like what information I will actually want to store and how. For example, there is a Firestore. So I'm already using, like that's decided and not questionable. I'm using Firebase for user authentication and stuff. So I may use Firebase, Firestore just to keep it everything under one platform. And yes, this is vendor locking. I don't care. It's making my life easier at this point. So I don't consider this to be a technical debt yet. There's MongoDB. By the way, those two are document databases. And if I want to go relationship, I think I will go with Postgres. But I think I don't need it. There is also like this whole system of multiple clients in the backend will be really heavy event based. And for that, I may want to have some event store. I'm not really into backend stuff, so I cannot even tell if I'm saying some bullshit right now. I may also not need it because the events that I'm interested in are very temporary. I want to know, is it started now and at what time, so I can display it for all the clients. I'm more interested in the current situation of the system for the user. Like the backend has to live somewhere. I won't be hosting this from my own computer. There are obvious choices like AWS, but again, I'm not a backend developer. I really don't know which will suit me the best. There is also Heroku. I don't know if they are also free, but also I will pick whatever is easier from the DevOps perspective because I really hate DevOps. Ideally, I will have a CI to build my backend and push it somewhere, and I don't have to care about doing anything. And just for fun, I will put DigitalOcean here. But this is more like setting up the whole virtual server and managing it. And I also don't want to do it. I just want to push my app somewhere and be able to use it without too much hassle. Cloud Functions, yeah. That will be enough. Cloud Functions and with the Firestore, I don't need to do all that stuff. And it's tempting to actually use it. So I definitely want to use Kotlin and Swift, maybe Kotlin multi-platform, and then I would like to stick with JS for desktop apps and the server application. I have no clue about databases yet. I will have to do some research, document it, and then pick up. Now I can create GitHub projects. Testing the Firebase. For that, I will need 2 repositories for Android app and the browser extension. Nice thing is, I think I can on GitHub I can connect the same project with multiple repositories, so it's visible there, and I can connect tickets with branches there, and then create a release and get changelog automatically generated if it's all connected in the correct way, and I can have everything in a single place. I still don't know how to do the documentation thing because there will be some. I want to have a decision record and probably some tech proposals just for the sake of me documenting what I tested, what I picked and why. And I don't know where to put it because I will have multiple repositories. I don't want to go monorepo yet, maybe never. And doing monorepo just to keep documents in a single place is kind of wrong. You should have stronger arguments for going monorepo because it doesn't come for free. I think I will stick with Obsidian as my main hub for nodes, like decision record and tech proposals. Obsidian uses just Markdown. It would be easy to then copy it to some repository and maybe create a GitHub pages.